What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Jason and Joe here. Better late than never. Finally wrapping up this 1980 deep dive. If you missed the original video, go check it out. We give our top 25 favorite albums of the year. Today, we're each giving our top 25 favorite songs of the year. I've got a lot here that were not from albums on my list, so it should be interesting.
Yeah, I got some. This is a weird year for me. As much as I love the year album wise, like none of these, I don't know if any of these songs are like really like my all-time favorite songs. And I had a hell of a time picking like my favorite songs from each of my favorite albums. Like I have like five or six from every single album that's like, well, I really love this song, but I've loved this song since I was like 12. So it's finding the balance there, but tons of great songs that I love, but I don't know how many would make my all-time favorite list. Maybe just a couple.
Yeah, same. Probably about the top two for me would be considered all-timers. Well, we can skip back into it. Number 25, I'm going some country. George Jones, He Stopped Loving Her Today. It's a classic, one of the most devastating country ballads ever written, and it does that great bait and switch where it opens the song. He said, I love you till I die. And then you find out he stopped loving her, and then you find out he died. So, just great, great country writing.
My number 25, I'm gonna go with Breaking the Law from Judas Priest. One of their simpler songs, it doesn't really have a guitar solo even, but it hits so hard right from that opening gunshot drum, just and then that riff is indelible. And it's a great paean to just British working class, just regular people. There's no like demons or monsters or, you know, painkiller guy flying around. It's real.
Number 24 for me is Hell is for Children by Pat Benatar. Just a badass rock song. Pat sings her ass off on this track. Neil Giraldo proves himself to be a very underrated guitarist. I love the way it builds and the way the tempo picks up. And yeah, there's a reason a bunch of metal bands have covered this song just because it rips.
Right. Number 24, another kind of working class song, kind of from a different angle. I got California Uber Ollies from Dead Kennedys. I just think this song is pretty hilarious. It's in your face. It's rude and crude. And I always love the line, now it is 1984, knock knock at your front door. It's the suede denim secret police. They have come for your uncool niece. I just think that's pretty funny. And there's a bunch of kind of hilarious lines throughout, but it's also really just like bruising in your face punk song.
Number 23 is Turning Japanese by the Vapors. I loved it as a little kid, even before I had any idea what it meant. And then, you know, maybe it's mildly racist, but it's so catchy that I have to forgive it any transgressions there.
It's fine, I'll allow it. My number 23, I got Teddy Pendergrass. And there's three just monumentally great Teddy Pendergrass songs on TP. Uh, I almost went with Is It Still Good to Ya? But I'm gonna go with Love TKO because it doesn't really get much better than Teddy's vocals here. It's got a skimpy, seductive groove, and it shows off his range and his prowess and his combination of smooth and a little gritty, a little gruff. The call and response between him and the backing singers, great instrumentation, kind of an updating, a little bit of the stack sound for the 80s.
My number 22 is People Who Died by the Jim Carroll Band. Just fast, punky little number chronicling all of the people that Jim Carroll knew that died. And, through it, he gives you like all these little like mini character portraits and a glimpse into the drug-fueled New York underground.
My number 22, I'm gonna go with a little Ultravox. I got Sleepwalk, a couple of strong songs on their 1980 album. Uh, they're a lot more powerful than I would have expected a synth pop band to be. Kind of aggressive. It's got a good robotic beat. the synth parts really shift from like nice free flowing to aggressive at the drop of a hat. I like the dichotomy there. And there's two synth solos in the song, and they're for having like a cheesy Nintendo MIDI sound to them. They're pretty imaginative and they're pretty aggressive and powerful for synth solos. And I don't know if it's just like a 1980s thing, but it seems like everybody got a little softer as the decade went on. But Ultravox, they had some powerful stuff in 1980.
Right, my number 21 is Just Like Starting Over by John Lennon. This was the first single from Double Fantasy, the final single during his lifetime, kind of a celebration after an extended hiatus from recording. This is his big return. You could also kind of read it as like this love letter to the baby boomer generation, kind of playing on their nostalgia with the Elvis slash Roy Orbison impression, but also looking towards the future with hope. And yeah, obviously took on deeper meaning with his murder.
My number 20, got to get a little Bush on here, a little Kate Bush. We'll go with Breathing. A couple of good contenders, though. Candidates from Never Have I Ever. No. That's not what it's called. It's called Never Forever. Forever Never? What's it called? Never Forever. Never,
Never Forever.
Never Forever. Sounded weird to say it out loud. I got Breathing, which is maybe her most progressive sounding song that she had done up to that point. It's epic and dystopian and sung from the point of a view of a baby still in her mother's belly, which is kind of weird. But she was a weird girl, lady, woman back then. Sounds like it was conceived and recorded like by candlelight late at night, which is cool. Kind of creepy sci-fi maximalism. And yeah, it's just a different point of view, a totally different, um, sound from her, and she pulled it off very well.
Number 20 for me is The Zoo by the Scorpions. Just an awesome rock song. I love the fast intro guitars before it drops into that slow, menacing groove. It's got such a great riff, big anthemic chorus, and a killer talk box solo. Everything you could want in a 1980 hard rock song.
Number 20 is When You Were Mine from Prince. Fresh sounding, I think, pretty fearless lyrically. All the gender confusion, the sleeping between the two of us kind of stuff. So, it's typical Prince. He's pushing the envelope there. But the coolest part about it is it sounds like it was recorded in a basement, like by himself, because it was recorded in his basement or attic or whatever, pretty much by himself. It's a fully Prince production. Prince is doing the lead, he's doing the backup vocals, he's doing the bass, the drums. It's got a very dated sounding synth, but super catchy, and that really chunky guitar. And it's super like lo-fi demo, just, something you would record, in inspiration on a Saturday night or something. And yet he, puts it out and it's a masterpiece and Cyndi Lauper covers it and it's, pretty well known as one of his like real breakout tunes. So just part of the many facets of genius that was Prince.
Number 19, I have The Road to Utopia by Utopia. There's a couple songs I was considering from this record, but I love how this one starts sounding very sci-fi, like it's going to be some kind of prog epic, and then it just opens up into this like jangly power pop tune. The verse melody is super catchy. The chorus backing vocals are awesome. It's got one of Todd's best solos also. So yeah, I love the kind of juxtaposition of the proggy sci-fi nerdy rock thing with the super melodic pop.
Yeah, lots of good songs on that album. It didn't quite make my list of favorite songs, but Rock Love was very close to making my list. My number 19, I'm gonna get some Genesis on here. Go with Duchess. And I love Phil Collins so much, and this song really just reminds me why. I think he's just a brilliant singer, and on Duchess especially, the way he kind of shifts gears, from being super heartfelt to heartbreaking to powerful to, just every every emotion runs the gamut here. And I don't know if this was his greatest vocal album ever, but like it's really close, if not the best. Like he kind of, found his voice after being the drummer for so long and shifting into superstar pop mode. But right here is like the best of all the worlds. And yeah, Duchess is just one of the best examples of what he could do.
Number 18 for me is Goodbye to Romance by Ozzy. Maybe an odd choice of a song for the Ozzy album, but I've always loved it. I've always thought Ozzy was great at singing ballads from Changes with Sabbath up through Mama, I'm Coming Home. It's almost like when you see like a great comedic actor in a dramatic role, Oscar-worthy dramatic role. He's got like surprising emotional depth, and yeah, I think he's just a killer singer. I love the vocal performance on this and the way it's layered. It's so good.
Absolutely. My number 18, and I believe you'll have this on your list, so we're not going to get shut out here. Touch and Go from the Cars. You come for the cold, icy synths, and you stay for one of the best, just, I don't know, one of my favorite guitar solos of all time. Just so casually brilliant from Elliot Easton. I think it people just don't notice maybe that he's just ripping off like ridiculous solo after ridiculous solo throughout the Cars' discography. Maybe just because it's like it sounds so like easy for him to do. Like it doesn't sound like he's trying at all. It's like, yeah, I'm just gonna do this. And he does it. And this one really stands out because Panorama doesn't have that much guitar on it. But just it's like 30 seconds of just like mind-blowing brilliance.
17 for me is Video Killed the Radio Star by the Buggles. I think it's a perfect pop song. Every part of it is hooky and memorable. It sounds very 1980, but it also sounds like the future. Sounds a little bit like it's coming from outer space. I think it's just like the perfect song for this era. It kind of encapsulates the whole year in a way.
My number 17, I'm gonna go with Billy Joel. I'm gonna go with Sleeping with the Television On from Glass Houses. Just one of the many, many super catchy songs on the album. So catchy, you can't believe it wasn't released as a single, considering the album had four top 40 singles. And I guess eventually you just have to move on to your next album. But to me, this is like the runaway, no-brainer, best song, catchiest song. Just I don't know. It's a great song. I don't think most people know it, but they should. Sleeping with the Television On, Billy Joel.
Number 16, I have Girl You Want by Devo. It's the first track on their album Freedom of Choice from this year. It's a herky-jerky pop tune that some say was inspired by My Sharona, although the band have refuted that. I think Devo is looked at as like this very forward-thinking band at the time, but I think their brilliance lies in their reverence for the past. And kind of like you talked about, like there's a surprising amount of like heaviness and like guitar drive to some of these new wave bands. And I think you can hear that here. They're kind of taking that like classic rock thing from the past and like recontextualizing it in a really interesting way.
All right, my number 16 is a very uncool song, but I don't know. It's a song I have not grown tired of, which is weird because we played in my band, and I'm basically sick of every song that I've ever played in a band. Yet, Any Way You Want It by Journey remains just anytime it comes on, I still am into it as a song. I love Neil Schoen's solo. Obviously, I die for Steve Perry, but just I don't know. I've heard this song so many times. You can hear it 4 to 5 times like an hour if you listen to the radio. It's always on, and I still love it. I'll never, ever, ever get sick of Any Way You Want It.
My number 15 is Tunnel of Love by Dire Straits. Just an incredible band performance. They're all so in sync with one another. Fantastic songwriting too. I love all the amusement park imagery. And of course, Knopfler's playing on it is just like next level.
All right, number 15, my highest new listen. And you'd be lying if you guessed that it was Huey Lewis and the News. I'm going with Some of My Lies Are True, which is their first single. And I guess I didn't know that Huey, I should have assumed because, as a band, the News backed Elvis Costello on his first album, um, My Name is True. But like they rock pretty hard on this album, and Some of My Lies Are True. Like it's fast, it's frenetic, it's dirty. Far cry from the overly slick 80s pop that would dominate their sound throughout the later 80s. This one definitely more indebted to pub rock. And there's a surprisingly flashy guitar solo in there for good measure. It's just a really fun, fast, cool song from Huey Lewis and the News, which, I mean, they're not that cool, but this song is.
Number 14 is Pulling Muscles from the Shell by Squeeze. At least partly inspired by their time on tour with the Tubes. Just a insanely catchy pop song, great lyrics, kind of like these snapshots of British people on their holiday, but it's also full of all these clever sexual innuendos. Just great writing and unbelievably catchy.
My number 14, I'm going to go with little Peter Gabriel. Another album where I mean, you could pick five, six songs off this album and you would not be wrong or incorrect. But my favorite has always been I Don't Remember. It's the song I Don't Remember. Or I remember what it is. It's I Don't Remember. Is so big and so just like in your face. It's woozy and like just it's perfect. And he also managed to make it like danceable. Like there's this like two sides of this song. It's kind of sick and like you don't know what's going on, but you kind of want to dance to it too. And Peter Gabriel, of course, he's got this like paranoid, glitchy delivery. It's just this really kind of spooky song that also managed to be crazy danceable. Quite a trend.
Number 13 is Give Me Back My Man by the B-52s. Love the pulsing synth on this and that great surf inspired riff by Ricky Wilson. Fantastic vocals all around. Really weird, interesting lyrics that I'm not exactly sure what's happening. It seems like maybe her man was lured by mermaids, and I don't know. She's like offering them fish in to trade for her man back. I don't know, but it's a great song, super catchy, and just it sounds killer.
My number 13, we go with some Hall and Oates. Kiss on my list. And the things on my list that make this song great, powerful piano, the rollicking drums, cutesy guitar solo, fantastic vocal interplay. It's just one of Hall and Oates' catchiest songs. Kind of a weird album. Voices is like there's four like grade A singles and kind of some mid stuff, but Kiss on my list, You Make My Dreams Come True, like those are like S tier pop songs.
Number 12, I'm going with The Spirit of Radio by Rush. Just one of the most energetic, positive, and uplifting classic rock tunes that I think there is. Perfect for playing air, anything, whatever your instrument of choice is. And yeah, it's just impeccably arranged and like all the different sections, and you get those like reggae breakdowns, and it still feels like this tight, compact, like pop rock tune. They packed as much prog as they could into like this small little rock tune, and it's awesome.
Number 12, sorry, Bay, but Stevie Wonder invented R&B country in 1980 with I Ain't Gonna Stand for It, which was a top 10 hit. It's not like some forgotten about song. Although it is kind of forgotten about because I've never heard it anywhere outside of the album. Uh, but people should recognize Stevie Wonder's contributions to the country genre. He goes all in here. He's got like this distinctive drawl. He's doing like this like real low to kind of more powerful thing. He's adopting all sorts of like horny country phrases, and then like he throws some slap bass in there, and there's also some pedal steel, and Stevie's doing his ridiculous drumming, and it's just this. It's a mashup. It's country and it's R&B and it's weird, and I've never heard anything like it before or after. But it's Stevie Wonder, and of course he does it really, really well.
My number 11 is Teenage Wildlife by David Bowie. It's like this really long song without much of a chorus. Instead, you have these insane, like killer guitar breaks from Robert Fripp. Probably my favorite playing of Fripp's entire career, from any era of Crimson to anything else he ever did. I just think his guitar work on that track is unreal. And it's also got like really interesting and poetic lyrics. I think it's a super cool and interesting song. One of my very favorite Bowie songs. Can't believe it didn't make the top 10.
My number 11, going with Gaucho from Steely Dan. Funny, clever, sleazy, smooth as I don't know, whatever metaphor, simile you want to use for smoothness. I don't know. It's impossible to really know what's going on because the lyrics are so just ridiculous. Like you're dropped in this weird love triangle gone wrong. And I quote, "Who is the gaucho, amigo? Why is he standing in your spangled leather poncho with the studs that match your eyes? Bodacious cowboys, such as your friend, will never be welcome here, high in the Custer Dome." And there's so much to unpack there that I'm not even gonna try. But it's just, you think it's like nonsense or just like kind of ha ha. But like every single line and every word choice is chosen for a reason, and you can like get into everything, and it's very deep, and that is why I love Steely Dan because they combine that kind of stuff with just perfectly engineered and smoothed out yacht rock. The way they do it all is why they're my favorite band ever.
Number 10 for me is I Wanna Destroy You by the Soft Boys. It's a great song. It's super cool. But if it weren't for that high harmony, I don't know that it would make this list. It's one of my favorite high harmonies ever. Right out off the top of the song when they come in with I Want to Destroy You, and then you get that extra layer high voice in there. It is so amazing. And yeah, it's also incredible to have those like such sweet, perfect harmonies over the line I Want to Destroy You. It just works.
Number 10, Shoot to Thrill, AC/DC. One of the few AC/DC songs from Back in Black that I'm not like super tired of them, but it's like a 50-50 chance I'm going to change the channel if I hear them on the radio. Not Shoot to Thrill though. That's automatic listen all the way through. It's badass. That opening riff is such a good come on. And the rest of the song has this swagger to it. It slinks, goes straight into the pleasure centers of your mind with all these memorable parts. And like all great AC/DC songs, it's perfectly balanced between like that heaviness and catchiness. It's just a trick that they play really well. And Shoot to Thrill is one of many examples on Back in Black.
No AC/DC on my list, but that would be my pick as well. Number 9 for me is Looking for Clues by Robert Palmer. If you only know Robert Palmer as like the cool, suave, crooner type dude from Addicted to Love and his other hits, you really have to listen to his 1980 album Clues. This song has like this fast, frenetic, jittery groove, cool synths, and like really tightly. I don't know if it's like cut tape or the band actually performing it this way, but all these like really sharp stops and starts. And yeah, and he's singing vocals in high falsetto, which you wouldn't hear much in his hits. But man, it's such a cool, different song for Robert Palmer.
Number 9, I'm going back to Prince for Dirty Mind. It's a four on the floor disco tune, but it's completely stripped down. It's pretty much him inventing lo-fi bedroom pop right off the drop here on Dirty Mind. Super simple. It's a great synth line from Dr. Fink, which is like one of two like guest appearances on the album. It's Dr. Fink playing synth here, and I forget who it is, Lisa Coleman, perhaps, on Head being the bride. So it's all everything else is Prince, and Dirty Mind is my favorite Prince song from the album. I love the bridge. It's the bridge that gets me every time. It's one of my favoriteest bridges ever. The way it ramps up and Prince's voice just starts breaking with excitement. Ah, love it, love it, love it.
Number 8 for me is Hot Razors in My Heart by Crack the Sky. It's got this really dark, like unsettling verse. It stays on one chord the whole time, and then it just opens up into this soaring, yearning chorus with a beautiful melody. The song also has one of my favorite guitar solos of the year from Rick Witkowski,
Of course, Rick Witkowski
the Rick Witkowski of
of Weirton.
yeah, he's of Weirton, yeah.
Mhm. My number eight, Elvis Costello, of course, he's on this list. My favorite song from Get Happy is Riot Act. It is the closer to Get Happy. And I don't know. I mean, it's an Elvis Costello song. It's great. It has a fantastic bass line. It has fantastic drums. It has amazing piano and synths and organ. And Elvis Costello really laying it on the line with his vocals, really powerful. Got some really cool chords in the chorus, the way it descends, and it's got this kind of psychedelic, paranoid feeling to the whole thing. It just makes it stand out on a album with a lot of songs. Riot Act really stands out there.
All right, now we've got some in common coming up, which we don't always get on the songs lists, but three of my next four you have already talked about. Number 7 for me is I Ain't Gonna Stand For It by Stevie Wonder. Like you already said, Stevie does country. He's got Charlie and Ronnie Wilson of the Gap Band on backing vocals. I mean, you already described it. I realized, though, when writing about it, that Eric Clapton covered it on his album Reptile, which probably would have been the first time I ever heard it. And I never made the connection when we did the Stevie Dive. But if you're interested, go check out Eric Clapton's version. It is not as good.
It is. I totally forgot he did that, but I do remember I did hear that, and I was a little like, yeah, that's Eric Clapton doing a song that was written by someone else that was better originally, as he is wont to do. My number seven, go with Roxy Music here. I'm going with Oh Yeah. Oh Yeah. There's an exclamation on it. This song to me is very un-Roxy Music like because it is extremely sweet. It is unironic. It is romantic sounding, and I feel like he means it. And the band comes off as vulnerable and sincere, which you don't always get with Roxy Music. And I think they play it really well here. I like the lyrics. They're kind of wistful and cute. And that chorus is just the way it builds into the oh yeah, just excellent, excellent stuff.
On number 6, I've got Touch and Go by the Cars. Another one with dark verses and like big, bright choruses. That is just a recipe for success in my book. And I love all the little like staccato guitar things he's doing in the chorus, showing off his kind of like country and rockabilly influences. And like you said, it's one of his best solos. He's got a ton of good ones, but this has got to be top three at least. And some of my favorite Rick Ocasek lyrics as well.
My number six is going to be Free Will from Rush. One of my just all-time favorite Geddy Lee bass lines. And it is one of the reasons I picked up the bass originally was this song because I love it. I mean, it's so hard to make a bass solo feel necessary, yet Geddy does it here, and that's just like one of like many, many parts on bass that are just mind-blowing here. The way he can do that and sing, I love it. And it's the 80s, and Rush moves a little away from the progressive side, a little more into the rock and pop spheres. and yet they can still make a song like Free Will where it's just, the level of playing from everyone is so high that like it would fit, if they had made this into a progressive rock song, it totally would have worked, but they tighten it up a little bit, and they get, almost a pop song from Rush, and it works, and I love it.
My number five is Coming Up by Paul McCartney. McCartney 2 is a little bit of a mixed bag, but there's a few tracks on it that I absolutely love. This top among them. In the US at least, the live version of this was the bigger hit, but I love this studio version. I love the like weird home studio production that he put on this thing, all the like weird cheesy fake horn sounds and his high-pitched varuspeeded vocals. I think it's just super interesting sounding. I think maybe that's why Americans didn't take to it until they heard the live version, but it's awesome. It absolutely rolls. It's so unique.
My number five, my fifth favorite song, 1980, is Cul-de-sac from Genesis. And this is another one from Phil that I just love his vocal work so much. It kind of feels like Firth of Fifth. Was it Fifth of Firth? I forget which one it is. Whatever it is, Firth of Fifth, Fifth of Firth, Fifth of Firth. I think it's Fifth of Firth. I always write
Birth of Fifth, right? Birth
Firth,
of Fifth.
Firth of Fifth.
Hold on.
Very confusing song title, guys.
Firth of Fifth.
Okay, I did write it down correctly. I doubted myself. It's sort of a simplified, condensed Firth of Fifth, for the fleeting attention span of the 80s musical consumer. It's got just so much prolific playing in like little chunks and little bits, and kind of like Rush does with Free Will, like they condense it and simplify it and make it more palatable for the pop audience. And it's terrifically tricky, and there's some really sublime moments of drumming from Phil as well as the singing. And I'd always overlooked this one. I don't know why. The whole second half of Duke, I sort of didn't get until this deep dive, but this more than any other song, I just listened to over and over and over again.
Number four for me from my album of the year, I have I Don't Remember by Peter Gabriel. This was the fourth single from Melt. It's just an incredible track, perhaps most identified by Tony Levin's Chapman Stick. Fantastic guitar work too from XTC's David Gregory as well as Robert Fripp, and just a huge chorus being belted out by Peter Gabriel.
My number four, you had this on your list. I too have Tunnel of Love from Dire Straits. And yeah, from the bass tone to guitar tone to drums to lyrics, Mark Knopfler was like finally able to engineer like a full album of songs that combine the best parts of Bob Dylan and Bruce Springsteen and, Mark Knopfler's own excellent guitar playing. And I think that comes together best on Tunnel of Love. Like you said, the lyrics are great. All the little carnival little things that he brings into the lyrics, but that, fiery but finessed fingerstyle guitar, especially at the end of the song where he's just kind of going off, is just so beautiful, so remarkable, just so impressive that he can just pack all these little fills and runs and passages and phrases and all this, other guitar descriptors into the tune. Just a masterpiece of guitar. It's like, Bob Dylan to lyrics, Mark Knopfler is to guitar on a song like this.
My number three is Kid by The Pretenders. Jangly pop perfection. They close side one of the album with their cover of Stop Your Sobbing, and then they open side two with this. And it almost is like this very clear illustration of how good they are at like replicating that sound and that era. It just shows like their ability to write songs on the same level as their 60s forebears. I think it's just a perfect song. I love Christie's voice, obviously. So, yeah, it's great.
My number three is kind of a placeholder for the whole album, but I'm going to give this one the top spot because it is my third most listened to song ever, at least in the Spotify era. And that is Walk Away from Black Sabbath, which I think people have a problem with me picking that one because it's probably the least metal, least serious track on the album. But my God, it is so catchy, and that bass tone is so like elephantine, mammoth sounding that I just love. Like I just put it on and marvel at how they got that bass tone. I don't even want to say it's my favorite from the album, because Wishing Well is my sixth most listened to song, and Neon Nights is my seventh most listened to song. So it's they're all right there, but I always give the edge to Walk Away because of the bass tone on it. Just can't get enough.
Number two for me, I've got Over You by Roxy Music. This kind of reminds me of like a classic country song. Like even though it's presented in a totally different context and it has like this smooth, like 80s-ness to it, it's got like that great double meaning and turn of phrase that all those great country songs do. And to me, this is like an 80s version of that.
Number two, surprisingly, I didn't see this song mentioned that much. And when I'm talking about Ozzy Osbourne and I'm talking about Blizzard of Oz, I'm talking about Mr. Crowley. Like, my God, the organ part to open things is just so cool, dark and gothic sounding. And then Ozzy comes in with those vocals, the like crying out. It's such a great vocal performance from him. And then you got Randy Rhoads just laying down ridiculous solo and guitar part after, one after another. That outro where he's just like keeps going and the song just fades out over a long period of time. He just keeps going, just ridiculous playing from him. Very evil, very just like you know, in the warm bosom of Satan is how that song, or the cold bosom of Satan, I guess, is how that song goes. But yeah, Mr. Crowley, my favorite by far from that song, album.
All right, number one's my favorite song of 1980 is Once in a Lifetime by Talking Heads. One of my favorite recordings ever, so ahead of its time, still sounds fresh today. I think pretty much unmatched in the 45 years since. I think it's lyrically brilliant as well, with Byrne taking on the role of like an evangelical preacher. It's so different, so unique, completely singular, and I love everything about it.
Well, everything you just said about that song, I think you could also say about my favorite song, "The Winner Takes It All" by ABBA. It's like the same thing. Um, No, it's not quite the same thing. This is not really ahead of its time. I don't think you'd call ABBA ahead of their time. Maybe, I mean, Swedish pop, could be, 90s, but it doesn't really have the same sound to like Britney Spears and all that stuff. But I do love ABBA. Everyone knows that. This is my original winner. I think this is a very sentimental, very adult take on the end of a relationship. I think it's marvelously arranged, of course, like all ABBA songs are. The piano part throughout is fantastic. Agnetha Faltskog's marvelous singing, maybe the best of her career. She's got that quiver, that just sadness in her delivery that makes it, work so well with heartbreak. And then you have like this disco bass line underneath, which is also incredible. And it's just one of those tunes. It's got everything. It's got the melancholy. It's got the dance beat. It's got the incredible close harmonies. And I I don't care that other people don't like ABBA because I love ABBA enough for two, three, four people.
All right. Well, there you go. Those are our favorite songs of the year. Let us know what you think of our list. Drop your own lists. Anything we missed, put it in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Check out all the links in the video description, Instagram, Facebook, merch, website. We started a record label. You could check out that and pick up the record that we put out a little bit ago. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting. Oh, Patreon too. Go there, check that out. And we'll see you in the next one.